Hey guys, GameBoy3800 here. Once again, we're back in Beam to go over another adjustable add-ons and by extension front engines pack update. We're going to start with CRC and then move on to the prototype truck to show the rest. But CRC first with Avenger, since it's got the most obvious thing and it's quick to go over. Everyone complains about how weak CRC is and how it's basically a meme of how weak it is. But I have upped its strength. I've added stronger suspension to CRC at last. Now, what's a good example to show here? I could just slam it into a wall, classic Game Boy style, but let's try not to do that just yet. There's a direct impact on the front tire with it in reverse, and the only thing we broke was a 4-link bar. There was a direct impact on the front, but the steering is still fine. Again, the only thing we lost there was a 4-link bar. And I'll do it one more time for good measure. And there we go. That time we didn't break anything, despite bouncing 10 feet into the air on one tire. Now don't worry, it's not invincible suspension, it's only stronger by about 70%. So, you can still break off wheels and stuff if you're stupid or unlucky enough like that. You can still break steering, it just takes a lucky hit, or I guess an unlucky hit depending on how you look at it. I don't know why the inside of that's no texture, that's weird. Anyways, that's it for CRC. Like I said, if you're stupid or unlucky enough, you can still break literally everything. I don't know how I even did that, but whatever. I'm actually going to remove CRC so I can get some FPS back. And now we have the prototype truck to go over everything else. So first of all, any fuel tank of mine that was on the Ford customizable engine, or really any other engine that was, standard capacity, has had its weight changed to be in line with the new CRD fuel tank as of CRD like 2.9. So it took a little bit while, but I have finally made the fuel tanks weigh less than 400 pounds. Let's go. Big win. W. Next up is the tires. A lot of people have been asking for more adjustable tires, and I have delivered. We have adjustable Goodyears, we have adjustable Ukraines, and we even have adjustable BKT 3s. And these have all the same amazing tuning options that you had before. Down here we can change the aerodynamic drag, the base grip of them, the tire weight, the node count. We can change everything about these tires just like you could with the BKTs before. But now you have 3 more tire options to choose from. Next up, the Ford customizable engine has had a extreme rework. And by that I mean I just made a lot more things adjustable than ever before. Let's take a look at the engine slider. You saw it briefly before, but take a look here. On top of having the efficiency, the inertia, and weight adjustable before, we now have options to change how the truck idles and its internal friction. So let's take a look here. The easiest one to take a look at is the internal friction. You can see in my top right, I have the torque curve app open. And what this does is it shows my exact brake horsepower at the crank. So if I raise my friction up to the max, what will this do? This will make the truck feel like it's heavier. It's a little bit harder to build revs. You can see we lost like 20 horsepower. So it can make the truck feel heavier. The engine is harder to build revs, but it does lose revs quicker as well. So it's different than just upping up the weight and inertia. Likewise, if we go the other way, to have less friction, we should gain some horsepower and be easier to rev up. But hold revs better because we don't have as much friction, slowing the pistons down. You can use this tool in order to simulate having an upgraded oil system or old used oil. So you can get some power that way. More ways to get more horsepower is always good. Let's change that back to its default of 14. Next, we have the engine idle to play around with. Right now, we're at the engine idle of around 1800 RPM. We can raise this up to 2500 RPM. This gives us a much different characteristic for when we can launch, because we're going to basically already be in the power band. So we won't have any of that delay when we hit the throttle. We should basically already be in the supercharger boost power band by the time you hit the gas. Likewise, we can go the other way. For instance, if we put on a ProCharger system, a ProCharger needs some RPM to get going. So in order to give it more time to get going, we can lower the idle. So watch this. Now our RPM is well below 2000. That gives our supercharger more time to spool up. You could likewise do this for a turbocharger system, where they make most of their initial boost down low. Also, for the ProCharger systems on the 540 custom engine, the belt pulley should no longer be half invisible. Let's go. Huge W. So engine model updates to the front engines pack as well. Next up, we can change the idle behavior. What does this do? Well, you can see the RPM actually bouncing around a little bit in the bottom right. We can make this more pronounced or less pronounced. So let's see how it looks more pronounced. Having it more can simulate blower surge a little bit, so that's pretty cool. Or if you want a rock-solid engine, make it a Rolls-Royce luxury car engine, we can have it down here, where it basically stays at 1800, or 1500 in this case. The next thing we can look at is the throttle used to avoid stalling. What does this mean? Well, let's take a look at how it is stock. When we're in gear, notice how our engine RPM doesn't change even though we're moving, and the engine should have some sort of torque load. That's because it's using up to 15% engine power to propel itself down the track without even hitting the gas. We can change this to be even more. So that means it's basically always going to have some throttle input. So if you wanted to get like a leg up on a torque converter launch, that's one way you could do it for racing. We could go the other way if you want to simulate a heavy clutch or high stall converter. If we go to 1% throttle input when in gear, Take a look at this. Our RPM drops to just above 1,000 actually. We go very slow. And our RPM is super low. This can get you a pretty cool effect. Let me show you. If we put in different engine sounds, like the indie sound effects, lower the idle, lower the RPM to its recommended 6,500. Watch this. Now we have an engine that really likes to go down low. That is not all, though. Let's go ahead and reset the tune, since now we have a sus amount of horsepower. That didn't really change the horsepower, I'll be honest. But if we go to the fuel system and change it to, I guess, kerosene, take a look at what we get. We actually get all the same tuning abilities for the idle and performance as before. So all the fuel systems have the same thing on both CRD and CRD 3. That was actually quite a big undertaking to get everything to work. As it did, I had to give everything its own variable slider so that it would not conflict with anything. And each fuel system does have its own numbers too, so you can see here we can get the idle down really low. And even lower still with the diesel. The last thing we're going to take a look at for CRD is the suspension. I have added stronger suspension to make it actually strong again, because before it was actually like not much stronger at all because of a recent BeamNG update, I guess. But they have been buffed. You now have a practically invincible CRD as well. Like, look at that. That should have broken something, but it didn't phase it at all. The last thing to show is the new truck. The new truck is Black Magic, made by myself and Skinner. I got the tune pretty much perfect here. It's a sick looking truck. It's a tribute to the very rare HP Firefly 003. I've done a little tribute announcement video for it already. It is out now in adjustable add-ons version 7.1. The tune does use the Pro Charger, so you will need a front engines pack installed to get the most out of it. Or at least how I intended you to drive it. But still, it is out. It is an incredible paint design. I love the Beam Monsters logo. Jedi Presence actually gave me all the full PNGs of the logo, like individual parts, so I could remake the Beam Monsters logo in the style of the Black Magic paint. Let's go ahead and take a nice close look at this paint just in general. sick design. I got custom windshield to be darkened. I got the light stand on the back to be only viewable like through it from the inside, like a one-way mirror. That's pretty cool. And the headers, these are actually new headers because the upsweeps were not available on the Ford engine for whatever reason, so I have added them in my pack. So now we have more engine customization with new headers as well on the Ford motors. Not just the customizable, but any Ford engine that uses these Ford headers. The flag as well looks sick as heck. You will need Bobcat pack in order for this skin to work because it uses his body. You shouldn't need any other packs for this truck to work though. One of the coolest things about this truck is that the headlights are fully functional. They actually do light your way. And if the hood breaks, they turn off automatically, just like the Gravedigger lights. It's a little bit dark inside because of the windshield, but oh well. That should about do it for now. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can leave a like, favorite, comment, share, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well. And of course the pack is out now on BeamMonsters.com and linked below. I'll see you all in the future. Keep an eye out. I will be announcing the next community event next video as well. Goodbye everybody.